can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go. It's another edition of the Daily Puck Drop. It's Wednesday, May 21st. Hey, real quick, shout out, happy birthday to my mom, and happy birthday to my niece, Tori Puckett. Shout out, Tori. All right? I probably should use her married name, but you know what? We're going to stick with Tori Puckett. Shout out to my niece, Tori. Shout out to my mom. Happy birthday here on May 21st. Welcome in, kiddos. Live show. Here we go. We do it every single day at 10 a.m. We go live on Twitter. We go live on YouTube. So this is for the crowd that's watching and listening to this later. You can always watch it live. Listen to it live, by the way, on the Puck Sports mobile app. Download it to your phone, Android. You go to the Google Play, you weirdos. Also, iPhone, download to the App Store. And it can also be used in Apple CarPlay. So you can listen to us on the move, on the go, on the Puck Sports mobile app. You can watch us on Twitter, Puck Sports. Watch us on YouTube, Puck Sports. And then, of course, if you come in and do everything and you miss it, you're like, I want to catch up on the show. Go to Everything's Podcast. Right after the show is complete, around 12 o'clock, we put it all up there on YouTube. Just search Puck Sports. Leave a comment. Like the show. Subscribe to the show. Just like it. We love to be liked. And then also you can listen to it on your favorite podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. All right, we're broadcasting from the Limback Lumber Studios. Ladies and gentlemen, contractors, they offer everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects, largest stock moldings in the Northwest. They are my favorite people in the world because they're old school service and they're fun guys and they're just down to earth and they're the best in the business. You want some lumber? You could go to the bigger stores. Go to a local store. It's been doing business since 1930, almost 100 years. Give them a call, 206-782 3487. Sorry, just on a text. Visit them online at limbacklumber.com. Follow me on all the social media platforms. Puck Sports on X, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Puck_sports on TikTok, by the way. And, of course, visit pucksports.com. There you can sign up to be a Puck's Posse member. Also be a part of the Puck the Picker Majors pool. Ladies and gentlemen, he's back. Wednesday appearance. Now, he doesn't have his new mic, but he's got a new mic that he promises will be up and running soon. But from Bend, Oregon, height unknown, weight unknown. He's brought to you by...
height, I think, still 6 feet, but when you get in your 60s, you start shrinking. So I'm sure I'll be 5'11" pretty soon here. And got probably holding steady around 215.
Love it.
Bad. Yeah, not too
215's
bad.
great.
Maybe 216, 217, had 4 Oreos last night and a bowl of ice cream, so that probably didn't help matters. But I'm brought to you by a Clean Streak, Puck. Everybody knows about the Clean Streak by now. Professional window and exterior cleaning service. Come on now. Still trying to give out $50 between now and the end of the month to someone who hires Brian Turner and his capable crew. They're more than capable. They're going to clean your roof. They'll unclog your gutters, pressure wash your driveway or your patio. They'll even wash your windows too. So give them a call for a free estimate. Everything's free. I'm going to give you money on top of it. 360-395-5748.
Have the second part of the number on another piece of paper?
360-395-5748 or visit cleanstreak.com.
Thank you, Brian.
I have an issue. I know you want to get to that Mariner game because that was so sensational.
No. I don't want to get to the Mariners game. You know what I want to get to right fucking away.
Okay, but I've got a home improvement thing going on right now. We hired a guy to put together our outdoor furniture. Now, you might be sitting there going, hey, Jim, why don't you put together your own outdoor furniture? If you've tried doing this lately, it's not as easy as going to IKEA and putting something together that you get from IKEA.
I did it.
You did
Easy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, God, there were so many screws and nuts and bolts and shit. I just didn't want to deal with it. So we hired this guy to come over and do it. And then he's also going to mount the TVs, and he's a much cheaper rate than the other guys I got quotes from. Okay, but how do you deal with this situation? Yesterday, he said he's going to get the job done, like a week ago, and then 3 days ago, and then, Jim, I'll be there tomorrow. And then he doesn't show up tomorrow. Jim, I'll be there the next morning. And then he doesn't show up till the next afternoon, which I don't mind flakiness because I'm a flake myself and I'm lazy myself. So I'm okay with that. But how would you deal with this? Okay. And I love the guy. His name's Jake. He's cool. He seems like
is there an end to the story, or is it how much longer?
Like 5 more seconds. Okay. We have a little fridge out there where he's putting together the outdoor furniture, and we have beer in the fridge. Okay, well, yesterday when we left to play golf, I told him, I go, we're not going to be back till like 8 or 9 tonight. He goes, well, yeah, I'm going to be working, And then he told me that he went home early and that he'll come back today.
Sure.
Kathy went out and counted and figured out that he had 4 or 5 beers while we were gone. So I'm like, she was kind of like, God, that's poor form on his part to do that. And I'm thinking, God, I kind of like Jake. I like his flakiness. I like that he just thought, Jim seems cool. I'll have some of his beers. Yeah. And I've offered him beer before, so it's not like he was taking them. Yeah. But is that okay, do you think?
I think it's fine. I think I like Jake. I like Jake because here's why I like Jake. I like it. You're getting what you're paying Jake for. Like Jake's, you're probably paying him nothing. Jake's probably, he probably has a drinking problem.
Maybe
he hits the the bar. What's the bar that I turned you on to?
M&J's or
D&D, the D&D.
Yeah,
the D&D, right? Isn't the
D&D right downtown?
Yeah, he's probably at the D&D every single night. So I kind of like Jake. I'm going to be honest with you. And if he's a little flaky, if the work's done well, fine. You paid him probably nothing. And now this is an opportunity. Hey, Jake, you took my beer. I promised you, I'm just making up a number, 400. How about 250? How about 250, Jake? All right. You were a little late. No problem. You kind of flaked out a few times. You drank all my beer. Nope. Fine. I'm going to cut down the little rate a little bit. So, and then you can use Jake for further projects. We had an electrician just the same way. Guy was super cheap, and he was good, but he was just fucking, I'll be out there, and then it's 3 weeks later, and then he wouldn't show up, and then he shows up, and he does all the work, and like, okay, fine.
Yeah. It was a lot cheaper than anybody else you'd have gotten in sooner. And the guy shows up in a kind of a beater Honda Civic, and he has his dog every day.
Yeah, you like him. Is he from Lapine?
I don't know where he's from. I think he lives in Bend.
Ask if he's from Lapine.
I was in Lapine yesterday. Quail Run Golf Course. Oh, my God. Play Quail Run when you're down here. I know you don't have time.
I don't have time to play golf. Well, did they miss us yet? Top executives, do you miss us yet? You think you made the right choice? You think you made the right choice by firing Jim, not letting him sit out his retirement, and it's like we all agreed that he was going to do, and then we have the exit plan of what we'll do after that. But no, you had to be fucking idiots, didn't you? And you had to fire him.
I like hearing this version of you, Puck.
Yeah, well,
the old version was like, let bygones be bygones. I've got this new venture at pucksports.com, and I don't really want to talk about what happened at KJR.
But I was waiting, and I told you from the get-go when they hired this idiot. I told you. He will bury himself sooner rather than later. He will. He just will. He's done it at every stop. Now, to be fair, I'll pat myself on the back. I didn't share all the articles from his past on social media. I never talked about it on this show because it wasn't my place to do it. I was like, that could have happened in the past. I'll get, you know what? This audience out here should have a fair shake with him. And it would be unfair for me to dig up all the dumb shit he did in the past.
Okay.
Where he's been fired from every single, hold on. Where he's been fired from every single stop, harassing women left and right. And I didn't mention it because I said, you know what? And if it comes out, it comes out. Well, it's come out now because now people have finally dug into the guy's past and realize what an idiot he is. And it's going to go down as one of the single worst. I think it's going to go down as the single worst hire that radio station has ever made. And they got to wear it. And so that's on them.
Can I like virtually hug you just for like coming out and saying what you've always wanted to say,
Well,
but didn't want to say because you were taking the high road, you had class. I was taking the low road. I was swerving all over the low road because I wasn't happy about being fired. And so I publicly thought, fuck it. You know, I'm retired and I didn't like what happened there. But also, can I give you a tip as a radio host? It's kind of rich for me to be doing that since whenever I led the show when you weren't there, it was a train wreck. I understand that. But there's probably listeners right now that are going, God, I'm enjoying Puck's rant, but I have no idea what the hell he's talking about.
Well, you want to go? You wrote about it. Why don't you just tell everyone you wrote about it?
Well, yeah, I wrote about it. jimmore.substack.com. If you want to be a free subscriber, you can be. No, I felt like I told you earlier. I felt like I was back at the PI chasing down a hot story this morning because. And then yesterday I happened to be listening to Mark James's show, the new host that replaced us there in the 10 to 1 slot, MJ in the midday. You know, that rhymes. That's kind of cool. But he had Luke Arkins on as a guest yesterday, and I happened to hear the interview.
So for people who don't know Luke he's not like a reporter. Luke is I had him on before in the past. I think he had him on with you. Luke is just a huge baseball fan that I think ended up, and I may be butchering this and you fill in the blanks, that started to garner a lot of attention on social media for a bunch of different like stats and just baseball, and he kind of built up organically a community for himself, which led to people putting him on the air. We put him on. I think Chuck put him on a lot in the past. It's just to talk baseball. And so,
and he has a blog that he writes about the Mariners.
What's the name of the blog?
Mariners Consigliere.
Okay. And so, and you were more friendly with him, I think, in the past. I think that originally, hey, should we put him on? And we did. And so he was on yesterday. I didn't hear it. Were you listening to it when he was on?
Yes, okay. I was listening to it. So they did, Mark James did a 20-minute interview with Luke, and they were talking about the Mariners. And then later on in the show yesterday, apparently.
Let me stop you before we go later on in the show. How did the interview itself go between Mark and Luke Arkins?
Well, I thought it went fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it went well. I mean, Luke is known for having some stats and fun facts that other people don't have, and that he always brings out in his Substack blog. And so he was, bringing out those different things, like home and away splits and all that kind of stuff. So I found it interesting. Plus, I happen to like Luke. I've talked to him a couple times over Twitter, over certain things with the Substack stuff. So anyway, but later on in the show, Mark James decided, he got a text from a listener that said, God, Ryan Rowland-Smith just can't stand the accent. I want a broadcaster I can understand.
So he received, this was a text on their text line.
Right. There was a text on their text line during the show. And then Mark James just said, hey, man, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. And he proceeded to talk about, he couldn't stand the way that Ryan Rowland-Smith says fastball. He says fastball. And he kept talking about that. And then he had, he kept saying that God, give me a barf bag, man. Good Lord. I can't stand it.
He said, as you wrote.
And then he even said, like, they've got Dave Valley. Why don't they use Dave Valley more? And I'm thinking, shit, Dave Valley's not that good. I mean, honestly, Dave Valley can speak, like we speak here in the States. But, I like Val, but, who's better, Ryan Rowland-Smith or Dave Valley? Come on. For my money, it's Ryan Rowland-Smith by 10 links. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
So you said, as you wrote about it, he said, fastball. Oh, my Lord. That's your color. Hold on. I'm reading what you wrote because you didn't read it because you're doing a terrible job of telling the story. That's your color analyst. When the Mariners play the Mets, I'm gonna get Mets analyst Keith Hernandez or Ron Darling on the show. They're the best in the business. I'm sure you're gonna get them on now after you trash the home team's color analyst. I'm sure they can't wait to get on. I want to hear Ron Darling. He won't say fastball. Dude, that's not baseball. Fastball is not what I want to hear on my broadcast. Oh, my God. Give me a barf bag. It's so out of place. I don't get it. Now, here's the thing. Maybe some context to this story. This is not the first time. This has been going on all year. all season. This is not just one texter saying, hey, I don't like Ryan Rowland-Smith. It's because this host does not like him. He's been doing this act all year long.
Oh, he's been talking about Rowland-Smith?
Yes. He's been trashing Ryan Rowland-Smith all season. All season.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, all season long.
What, are you listening to a show or something?
No, I have moles that tell me.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, you have people at KJR that actually liked you?
It's weird. You know, it's like still friends with all of them. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, we're not there anymore. And I think we were kind of well-liked, weren't we? I mean,
well, I here's the thing. So take it from there. So take the story from there. So Arkins gets off the show.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Rowland-Smith goes in, or excuse me, midday Mark goes into the Ryan Rowland-Smith rant.
Yeah, and then Luke probably got done with the interview and continued to listen to the show. And then, yeah, he heard the comments about Ryan Rowland-Smith, and Luke wasn't happy about that. So last night, Luke tweeted out, Mark James ranted that Ryan Rowland-Smith shouldn't be a Mariners broadcaster simply because he had an accent. That is offensive, unprofessional, and unacceptable. And then he also said, full disclosure, I was on James's show today, a mistake I won't make again. And then James, this
is where we just go from 0 to 60 in a half a second.
I can't believe that he tweeted this out in the first. I mean, you know, usually you sit there and you kind of go, God, should I hit the send button? I mean, even for half a second, but he looks like he's the kind of guy that banged it out and just went boom and texted it out there. You would think that he would have deleted this by now with the backlash he's had.
Sure.
But he's probably the kind of guy that thinks, negative reaction is better than no reaction.
But he did this in the past, though. He's did the whole thing, and I'll read the article for you now because it's all out there. When he was accosting a woman that wouldn't go on a date with him, and he berated her on text so much that she was like, "What is wrong with you?" And then he ended up, getting suspended from his job because of it. And then later claimed it wasn't me. It was a girl sitting next to me writing. So he's one of those idiots that says, I didn't mean to send it. I'm shocked that he hasn't come up with some excuse today that he was hacked. I was waiting for I was hacked. And maybe he's on right now telling everyone that he's hacked, whatever. But I mean, so what did he write? Tell everyone what he wrote.
Okay, so here's what I thought. Adam Lewis, a fellow Coug, I mean, he sent this to me this morning, and I looked at it and I thought, oh God, it's probably an AI thing or something, but nobody could have possibly written that with half a brain. But here's what Mark James said. Luke, you were the worst guest I've ever had on my show in my entire career. You're boring as fuck. And you suck on the air. I'll make sure that your dead on air is never on my show or any other. That is, and he hasn't deleted it yet. You would think that he'd be like, oh my God, probably, sleeping on it. I probably should change that up. But yeah, and then I just thought, God, a dog with a bone, man. I just had my old, PI. God, I was like, texting Luke this morning and texting Ryan Rowland-Smith, and then enough. I managed to get Mark James's cell phone, and I texted him if he wanted to comment. And of course, I have Rich Moore's number still, and so I texted him, "Hey, Rich, you care to comment on this?"
Rich is the program director, Purple Sheet, who fired Jim Moore. So I'm shocked you haven't heard from Rich Moore yet.
No, let me check. Yeah.
So have you heard from Mark James yet?
No, nothing from Mark either.
Nothing. Okay.
No, but that's what you're supposed to do when you're a so-called journalist is at least give them the opportunity, especially when you're trashing them.
Of course.
Yeah. And then Ryan got back to me. And Ryan was great on Twitter.
How was Rowland-Smith? How was Ryan?
Well, Ryan was told that he can't really say anything.
Well, sure, they want
and so that's smart of him not to really say anything. But I think he was on our side on this one.
Well, he doesn't win in it. I mean, there's no way he wins.
Huh?
He doesn't win. I mean, where does he doesn't win by saying anything?
Well, but he did on Twitter last night because he responded. He responded by saying, "Who?" in reference to Mark James.
That is always a good one.
Honestly, never heard of this dude until I did some research over at Deadspin. And then he had some laughing emojis, I guess, laughing about that story that you just detailed. You got to do better than that, mate.
Yeah.
And then he had an Aussie flag emoji and a kangaroo emoji. So, I mean, he's a good-hearted guy. I didn't really, I mean, are there people out there that don't like Ryan Rowland-Smith? There probably are. But,
well, sure, but
the majority of people, don't we like hyphen?
Well, but again, I don't. It's like here's the thing. It's in all walks, in everything that someone does in a public forum like this. You're not going to be universally liked. It's just not. They're never going to be. But there's just a different way to handle it. I just don't care for him. This guy's obsession with his accent and all. It's weird, and it's just a weird thing to do. It's fine. I mean, there's plenty of people that I don't think cared, and I don't mean drag him. Well, I'm not gonna drag him into it. There's you don't care about some broadcasters, but you're like, all right, fine. It's not for me, and to go all in.
Well, who are you gonna mention?
Well, I mean, there's pretty divided people that always felt about Dave Sims. I don't think Dave Sims was universally liked in Seattle.
No,
as a broadcaster,
he was polarizing, and there were people that were like, "Oh my God, the Yankees hired him.
Sure.
Why?" And then thank you for getting him out of Seattle. Yeah, you're right.
But I would say this about Dave. I love Dave. Dave as a person and is just one of the nicest individuals in the world. I thought he was a better football broadcaster and a better basketball than baseball.
Fair, but that's a nice way of saying it.
Yeah, but to go off on someone's accent and just I don't know. I mean, but again, this is this guy's MO, and it's been this MO for a while. He's a wannabe shock jock, Clay Travis, make it up, whatever you want to be guy. This is the reason why he's bounced around from every job. He's been fired from every single job. You just got to search his name. Mark James fired radio, and it all comes up. I mean, just all of it. I mean, he was accused of sending these harassing texts to a female when he worked at Nesson, the New England Sports Network. Okay, I mean, he just has a history of this crap, all of it. And then he claims that.
I read that text exchange for the first time this morning. I hadn't read it before, and
then he got fired. He got fired from Atlanta, where Bunker works at the game, because he was getting autographs from Mets players. Oh. He's just again, the guy's never lasted more than like a year anywhere. And I told you this from day one. I don't think he's going to last a year here. And I don't have anything personally against the guy, and I've been listening just because I wanted to see who they hired to replace you and me and see how he is. He's really good with the fundamentals of sports radio. I think a hell of a lot better than I ever was. But the style that he has probably works better on the East Coast than in Seattle. I don't know, I mean, like somebody might be saying, well, Jim, at least he has a style. You didn't really have one. Okay, fine. But no, what really, I don't buy into that. If his style worked, he'd be working there. He doesn't work there. He doesn't work anywhere. No, he's not been desirable to go higher. Here's the thing that, and I've said this to people, people that we worked with in the past, very conflicted about this, because on one side of the coin, I'm very entertained by this. I'm entertained by this because I believe in karma, and karma's a bitch, and you get what you deserve. And when the people in charge of that radio station did what they did and didn't have a fucking backbone to stand up and do what was right, even though they may have been in trouble, they didn't do it. They were cowards. Absolute cowards. And when we had agreed on everything, he's going to stay on till the end of the year and we'll be good to go. And the long, drawn-out, stupid contract that I was going through, and to get the news, okay, we got the contract, and to find out, and the snake oil business side of those individuals over there, and they know who they are, to sit there and then turn around less than 24 hours later and go, oh, you have a contract, but we fired Jim. Excuse me? You did what? And to not be transparent about it, to not be honest about it. And that's when I was done. I said, well, I'm done. That was the second I was out that I left. 'Cause I'm not going to work for a place like that anymore. I was tired of it. Not tired of the people I worked with, the direct people I work with on the air, producers, love those people to death. That's why I'm conflicted about it. Because I'm conflicted because I take great joy in how this affects really one person. But then I feel bad for the morning show. I feel bad for Chuck. I feel bad for Bucky. I feel bad for Ashley. I'm going to name everybody. I feel bad for Chris Kidd and Anders and Softy and Jackson and Dick. And did I mention Ian? And Ian and Jessamine. Who did I miss out? Did I miss anybody? Anybody?
Did you say Fane?
I said Fane.
Okay.
Did I say Fane? Yes, I did say Fane. So I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them. Because they don't deserve this shit. They don't deserve, and you know what else doesn't deserve it? Is the KJR brand doesn't fucking deserve it. Because this guy single-handedly, in 24 hours, just torched it all. Torched it. Embarrassed everything. And listen, I don't work there anymore, but I've spent 23 years of my life, 23 great years there, where we handled things. We did, cutting edge things, and we learned from the best, and we pushed the envelope, and we gave people shit. We didn't do this, though. We didn't do this. We didn't cross the line with someone who works on a broadcast team who we know we have to work with. That's the fine line with sports radio, right? You got to be opinionated. You got to be able to say what you want, but you have to, at the same time, not completely just tear apart relationships with sports teams. And this is what this guy has done. And what he has done is stained the name of that station, and he has stained the people that work there. And now it makes it uncomfortable for them, because what do they have to do now? They've got to answer, well, why do you have this idiot on the air? Why does he work with you? And they get associated with him. That's what I feel bad for. I mean, again, still, maybe I'm too soft, but that's what I feel bad for. That's what makes me conflicted. But on the other hand, karma fucks everyone in the end. And you get what you deserve. You really do. You get what you deserve. And so when you just sought out from day one, this was the person you were going to hire, and you lied to the people that were in that building and telling them that, oh, no, you got a job. No, you're up for it. Trust me. You're very much into it. You're very much a candidate. You never were a candidate. Ever. Because this was the guy they were going to hire from day one. And so that's why on that side of it, I do not feel bad.
Yeah, that part of it, Puck, I still remember that day. Of course, you always remember the day you got fired. It was on the cutoff there to Lake Billy Chinook, which I haven't visited yet. I've seen pictures of it, and I got to get out there.
You got to go. You got to get a houseboat.
Yeah. So I pulled over, and then, Rich and what's the other guy, CrossFit guy, Mark? Yeah, they gave me the news. But anyway, so I didn't call you all day because I figured that you must have known that I'd gotten fired, and that was part of the deal. And so then you were surprised when I called you, I think, later that night. But anyway, I just wanted to say, too, that it was an honor for me to work at KJR. It really was an honor. And I say that because I'm a kid who grew up in the Seattle area, grew up in Redmond, and I listened to KJR as a kid. And I know it was a different format with Top 40 and Pat O'Day and all of that, but KJR, Seattle, Channel 95. I mean, there's people out there that remember that. And I remember that. And I thought, wow, this is cool that I'm working at KJR. And I don't want to get over dramatic with it, but I really did. I thought some days when I drove in, I thought, man, this is cool. I never in a million years when I was that kid growing up in Redmond thought I'd be working at KJR. And we talk about it. It's a blessing in disguise in some respects, getting fired. And I was able to move to Bend and do different things and collect unemployment and all that. But still, there will always be a lingering bitterness. And I don't mind saying that to people. I know I should take the high road, but I'll be happy the day that Mike Salk gets fired. I'll be happy the day that Rich Moore gets fired. I don't really want KJR to go bankrupt. But the people who fire you, you would like it if they got fired themselves. So, and the other part, and then I'll stop.
No,
they really didn't save that much money by not having you and me there anymore. I mean, you and I made combined 150,000 maybe to hire this guy and bring him in from the East Coast. They had to have paid him at least 100, if not 125, is my guess. He wouldn't have taken the job for 75 or 80 like I was making. He wouldn't have done that. And then they ship his car out. They, paid the moving company, and then here he is. So was it worth saving 50,000 to get rid of us? I don't know. Maybe. I hope they regret it. I hope they feel bad.
I hope. Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now. You're goddamn right they regret it. And they don't know it yet. And maybe they do, but they will. They eventually will. They'll find out real fast. Why, if you were the Seattle Mariners right now, would you put a single guest on that radio station?
Oh, I didn't even think about
why would you do it? If you are Kevin Martinez, and I almost said Randy Adamek just because I was texting Randy Adamek early this morning about something unrelated.
Great guy, by the way.
Yeah. Why would you put anyone on there? Now, listen, is it unfair to punish the whole station? Maybe. But why would you? Why would we put someone on that just completely trashed, one of our employees? Because he's an employee. He's absolutely an employee. So,
do you have a problem understanding Ryan Rowland-Smith when he talks?
I do not have a problem understanding Ryan Rowland-Smith.
It's not like, he's speaking Spanish or something.
But I do hear, listen, I do hear from buddies like, he's not for me. And I find him, I find him not boring, but I don't find him very, fun to listen to. And that's fine. Again, there's plenty of people. I get that shit all the time from people in our comments. And I get it. I totally get it. It's the way this is my always lesson to, especially the young guys that at KJR, and they're still there. And we talk all the time. I always tell them, like, you cannot let the negative stuff get to you. Because it's part of the business. You gotta look at it. Yeah, let it bother you for 5 seconds and move on, and just move on, because you can't pay attention to the people that reach out to you say we love what you do, because it's just the negative ones. There's going to be people out there that want to be that way, but at the same time, if they just say, hey, you're just not my cup of tea, fine, okay, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
but this has made it a personal vendetta against someone. Yeah, it's just it's uncalled for, and it just doesn't. There's just no place for it, and But again, it's part of this shtick, And I hate shock jock shtick. I can't stand it. I think it's the dumbest form of entertainment that is possibly out there.
I know you give me a hard time for watching the yelling shows in the morning.
I hate the yelling shows. My God, let's talk about Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese.
You know what, though, Puck? I think yelling gets people money and gets people stuff. There's a guy, I'm still working the conference this year. Sure. And there's a guy that we called Yelling Patrick because he was such a dick last year, yelling at people all the time, including other employees like me and Stevie and my wife. And he's a management guy now this year. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? Why'd they have Yelling Patrick as a manager? But anyway, it's I almost lost my train of thought, but then I came back to it. I haven't quite got to that Alzheimer's phase yet in my life.
It's happening. It happens to all of us.
Yeah. But no, you know what they should have done in hindsight, and it's not even hindsight because you and I have talked about it, and for such a cheap radio station, which KJR is, and so is iHeart, they are cheap.
iHeart is just
So you would think operating on the cheap like they are, that they would have thought to themselves, okay, 10-1, it's not necessarily that great. It's not drive time radio. We can just maybe hire. They should have hired Ashley, any combination of Ashley, Jessamine, Chris Kidd, Anders Hurst, any combination of those four people. They probably could have given them $50,000 a year each, or I don't know, maybe I'm short set. They deserve more than that, but that's probably what they would have offered them. And they would have taken that show and they would have done great. I mean, sure. Ashley is terrific. They're all terrific, and instead, they had to go to the big name, the shot.
It's not a big name though. That's the thing. It's not a big name. No one ever heard of the person before. It wasn't you weren't bringing in Colin. Hold on, you weren't bringing in Colin Cowherd. And listen, we're going to take a shot at ourselves here. You don't bring a big name in for the middays.
No, you don't.
I always knew
from Greg Bell. What I heard from Greg Bell, who was not happy about being replaced as the temporary fill-in, is that they were kind of grooming him to do drive time. Now, if they were grooming him to do drive time, there's no way he's going to replace Softy. So if I'm Chuck and Bucky, I'm going, let me look over my shoulder here. You're thinking about replacing us?
Yeah, I mean, listen,
I'm just glad to see this version of you, because I kept wondering why you had so much class when it came to talking about this. And you kept having day after day after day. And then I started thinking maybe that's really how you feel about it.
No, I felt I was never going to do anything as long as he didn't do something stupid. But I knew that day was going to come.
Yeah. Well, just you personally, and then we can get into whatever else. But you personally weren't appreciated there like you should have been. And that's that's
fair. Fair to say.
Fact. I mean, that's not just my opinion. You weren't appreciated like you should have been. And when you're not appreciated, come on.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal for everyone. Then maybe we have new people that are tuning in right now on the live stream on Twitter or YouTube or listening on the Puck Sports mobile app, or maybe you listen later. Here's the deal. And I'll be a smart ass, but then serious. You have a choice at 10 o'clock every day. You have a choice. Now, this is what you're going to get. We're going to get some sports. We're going to talk about life. We're going to have fun. And that's what we're going to do here. And that's what we've been doing here for over a year plus of talking about sports, but having fun here every single day. If that's for you, if you like people making fun of each other, talking a little sports, dicking around, then this is it for you. If you want shock jock, then go ahead and go there. You want that. You want great guests that we have on every single week. Bill Kruger, Jim Duquette, Mike Garofolo, Ryan Divish, Mitch Levy, Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson, Chris Egan, Jim Moore. Who am I missing? Brad Adam.
Bill Kruger.
Then this is for you. John Canzano, this is the show for you. So you got a choice at 10 a.m., by the way. And if you want to listen in your car, the Puck Sports mobile app, you can listen in your car.
Yeah. And forget the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like what I'm doing with you. I mean, I'm not saying that just because I'm a part of the show. I listen to your show when I'm not on it. I think you do. I think you do a great job, and the guests you talk about and the style you have, with just trying to have fun. And then the other part of the podcast world, no commercials. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
give you some live.
You don't have 8-minute breaks.
I'll give you some live reads. Let's say not all commercial. We do still need more advertising, and I'll take as much advertising as we can, but I'll give you a quick 15-second read. I'm not going to bore you with 9-minute commercials.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So that's the best part of it too.
Yeah. All right. Well,
did that feel good?
It did. It did. Felt really good. It felt really, really good.
I know it's not a way to live for me to be bitter. I know that you shouldn't live that way. Everybody tells you, like, if I was in a therapist's office right now, they'd be like, Jim, I went to this one therapist all the time, and she was like, Jim, please. She always pleaded with me, Jim, please. Because she knew that I probably wasn't going to do what she told me to do. And she was just like, please, Jim. Yeah, it's not the way to live life, but I'm bitter, man. I'm still bitter. I'm happy as shit being in Bend, Oregon, but I'm bitter about getting fired and having it happen twice.
But I have so much on it, so much love and respect for that brand. For that brand. I mean, listen, I'm staring at it's still on my wall here of like collectibles. I'm staring at an old school. I mean, I can't show you because I can't have to walk around and get it. An old school sports radio 950 KJR mic flag. I love that thing. I love that logo. I love that color scheme. I love all about it.
Yeah.
And despite what has happened, I've got a lot of great friends there.
Yeah.
And when someone is trashing the product and the logo, and it's just, I got a problem with that. I got a problem with the people that have got to deal with that now daily. But listen, that's one person's fault. They made that person. Rich Moore made his bed. He's the one that's got to lay in it now. Not us anymore. So not our problem.
That's true. That's pretty interesting that Chuck and Bucky and Ashley came to the defense of Luke Arkins instead
How do you think that's going to go over? If people we didn't get to that part of the story, they did a whole thing this morning defending Luke Arkins and saying what he said on his show yesterday does not represent the station. I'm sure that was a fun little. I don't think they do cross-talk, but I'm sure that was a little fun crossing the paths in the hallway. Wouldn't you love to have a fucking video camera in there right now, just all of it, just to see everything that's going on?
Yeah,
I'd pay a lot of money.
Luke Arkins is still welcome on our show.
Yeah, I'd pay a lot of money. So is Ryan Rowland. In fact, I think Ryan's going to come on at some point. This was even before this. This was like a few days ago because he sent me a nice note because he was, I think he's the producer of it or he's helping Brad out. Have you seen Brad's new golf show, by the way, Brad Adams?
I have not. He texted me about it. It sounds like it's good, though.
You got to watch it. It's called, and everyone's got to watch it. It's called Fairways and Fastballs. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Fairways and Fastballs. And I think the production team, I know Rowland-Smith is a part of it. The production team that does Ryan's podcast, okay, is I think helping him out as well. It's really well produced, certainly better produced than this shithole thing that I'm putting out. It's great. So he goes and plays. The idea of it is this. He goes and takes a couple Mariner players or coaches out golfing. And then in between as they're playing golf, he's doing interviews talking about baseball and, whatever, life and all this. So in the first episode, he had Manny Atka on the show, and I can't remember who, it's the assistant hitting coach or hitting instructor. I don't know what his name is. I forget his name. Anyways, but Manny Atka is a star. I mean a star. Is so damn funny. So good. And it's a good show. And it's like 25 minutes long. And anyways, he sent me a note thanking me for promoting it. And said, hey, anytime you want me on, let me know. And I said, oh, sure, we'll put you on. I would love to have you on. This has been perfect timing to have him on today.
Did you get permission from 710 to have him on?
Why? Does he do something with them?
Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm not in competition.
Yeah, give Salk a call and see if you can get the clearance for that.
We're not in direct competition.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, Ryan wouldn't do it if he couldn't do it. So yeah.
Ryan can do it. He can do whatever.
God, I love working with him. I mean, and he fits the whole TV thing too. He's knowledgeable. He's a good-looking guy. He's well-spoken. It's just, it's just crazy.
Yeah. I don't know how much. The Mariners game starts in like 15 minutes as we're doing this right now. If you're watching, listening to this later, the game's already over. So they'll finish up their series with the White Sox. I'm about out of talking about, what the whole Mark James and Luke Arkins thing, but not much to unpack from the game yesterday. Just it's hell and move on.
God, you would have thought though, if you told somebody, hey, they're going to go with an opener in Legumina and then go with Lawrence. And they're only going to give up one run. What do you think they win by? 5-1, 6-1, 7-1? No. And against the White Sox, just baseball's so weird that way. You just never know. 1-0 game, and then the rain delay. I was kind of hoping that they were going to call the game and have a doubleheader today.
But I don't think they could have. They couldn't have done a doubleheader. I don't think.
Oh, they couldn't?
Because they were flying out right away to be in Houston. I think there was some talk they couldn't even do the doubleheader.
Oh, okay. All right.
I love a good doubleheader. Where did the doubleheader go?
Yeah, I miss the doubleheaders. Yeah, like the Sunday afternoon doubleheader, and then they had then they came up with that idea of like a twilight or They came up with you had a day game, and then there was like a 2-hour break before the next game.
Yeah. Stay in the stadium, drink their very inexpensive beer.
Yeah. But
how about the guy last night? Did you see where Brad was interviewing the Mariners fan?
No, I didn't. I didn't catch that.
That guy was great. This Mariners fan who lives in Chicago is like some data analyst guy. And I was like, I got to watch the Mariners in Chicago. And they had the rain delay. Instead of getting under cover, the guy just sat in his seat in the pouring rain for over an hour.
And so Brad thought, what the heck? I'll go interview him.
They go interview him when they resume play. Here's the best part. It was $5 beer night at the game. So he's just sitting there pounding. They kept it open. He's just pounding beers.
You know what I read the other day on
Fucking
ESPN?
great.
I was looking at the Mariners schedule, and then if you look at the ESPN one, it has how much tickets are for the game.
Yeah.
It was $8 to go Monday. It was $7 last night. I think at least a couple days ago, you can go today's game there at Comiskey Park or whatever they call it now for $4.
Oh, it's
$4.
just great. That's great.
$4.
The charges, the fees on the processing are probably more than the ticket, right?
And then, to see those games, I mean, there's like, God, they say there's 10,000 people there. There's no way. You feel like you're watching games in Oakland again.
Yeah. Can we not get a $5 beer night? I mean, I guess there's the value beer. There's the value.
You know about the $5 beers, though.
Yeah, they raised it, though.
What is it, $6 now?
$6 now.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't like it. It's not the same. It's not the same as $5.
Yeah. Better than 14 or 16 or whatever their, the tall boy Modelo's are.
Again, but that's why I stay away from the tall boy Modelo's. I don't want them. It's too big. Too big. Yeah. I don't like them. They're too big. I want the small 12-ounce can. That's why I go to the value that everybody knows about now, and I hate it. The value section behind. It's in the Hall of Fame section.
So always a line there now.
Always a line now. Every time I go back, there's 30 people in line. I'm like, son of a gun.
Yeah.
We ruined it for everyone. But whatever.
Yeah. Oh, well. Still fun to go to the games. Mariners still doing well. Still in first place. You know, they're only 12 to 1 to win the World Series and 6.5 to 1 to win the American League. That's it at DraftKings. But would anybody in their right mind put money on the Mariners at 6.5 to 1 to win the American League? It seems like it should be at least 10 or 15 to 1.
I put 6. Sure.
6.5 to 1 that your what do you call them? Los Marineros?
Los Marineros
are going to win the American League. And
not what I call them. It's what the Hispanics call them. Los Marineros.
1977, the drought started. And you think it's going to end this year?
I don't know. I mean, I was discussing this yesterday with some friends, having some happy hour cocktails. I don't know, but I mean, there's one side of me. The other shoe's going to drop just because I've watched him for so long, and so I do have the pessimistic side of me is like, it's going to fall apart. I can feel it. I just know it's going to happen, and I'm trying to block that voice out as hard as I possibly can.
I don't think you ultimately will be able to do that.
I'm trying to, Jim. I'm trying though.
They're on a 94 or 95 win pace.
I know.
With like a makeshift team at times.
But they're getting back. You think about this. And Divish is coming up in a second. I didn't almost forget. I did forget because he's been gone for a while. But I forgot that Luke Raley's not injured. I'm like, that's right. That's right.
I thought you forgot that Divish had been gone for a while.
I forgot. Well, it's, he's doing well.
How's his squad doing?
Havre North Stars are off to a great start. They're 3-1. For those who don't know, Divish is back in Havre, Montana. He's taken a sabbatical from covering the team every day, and he's coaching his stepson's travel ball team. They are 16 and 17, I believe, are the ages. So they're off to a great start. They're playing Great Falls tonight for, I believe, a doubleheader. The Great Falls Chargers, which I don't believe you should have that name for baseball. Chargers.
You don't like that?
It's football.
Yeah. Okay, I got a bet for you. When Divish comes back in early August,
that's when they fall apart.
No. I'm talking about him personally. Do you think he'll have a fiance or not? I say he will for $50.
I will say he does not.
He went back to Montana to coach the stepson. Come on. Read between the lines. $50, you're on.
So you're saying, hey, if you want to put a ring on it, you need to come home and coach the stepson, or you're out.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
You know what? I don't want to take that bet because you're probably right. I'm out. I'm out. I don't want it because you're right. I'm out.
How much would you pay though to see Divish get on one knee and propose to a woman?
There's not $10,000.
And calling the dad, and asking for the hand in marriage.
Yeah, but I want it all, right? I want the setup of where he's down on a knee, and then all of a sudden, oops, wow, there's a photographer in the bushes.
I don't know. I think it's going to happen. If he took a leave of absence like that for a stepson's team to coach there and go back to Montana, I He loves his home state, man. I mean, God, he loves Montana, and for good reason.
He loves that. He loves Montana. And the thing about what I enjoy about him more than anything, it's not that it's not like the big Montana cities. I mean, he likes Missoula because that's where he went to school, and then what's the other Bozeman. He loves Havre, and I've been to Havre. Like, I know what it's like. It's not,
that's Matt Keegle's hometown, isn't it?
No, Matt Keegle was Great Falls, wasn't he?
Well, Leaf was Great Falls, I think.
But I thought Keegle was as well.
Yeah, you might be right.
Probably am. But Havre is, it's, you're in and out. I mean, there's not much there. But the fact that he's still, he loves it because it's his hometown. It's great.
Yeah. No, and then in his absence, all the times guys are pinch hitting for him. Great. But I mean, come on, please. What the hell? Why are they sending Bob Condotta to Chicago?
That's the best part. That's the best one.
Busts his ass all year covering the Seahawks, doing a terrific job. And I'm just like, and then, I threw that out on Twitter, and, somebody was like, well, it sounds like a dream job to me. It is a dream job being a sports writer. You don't get paid much, but it's a dream job. It was a dream come true for me to work for the PI. Yeah. But give Condotta a fucking break, Paul Barrett. Jesus fucking Christ.
Hey, leave Paul Barrett alone.
No, I'm not going to leave him alone. Give Bob a break. Christ almighty, he's in his 60s now. You're going to wear him down.
No, you're not going to wear him down because he lives for this. He loves it.
No, I'm sure he's having a fun time in Chicago, but yeah, I don't know. Couldn't you have sent Jude or
But I love that he gets the road trip that's Chicago and Houston.
That's okay though. No, those are fun towns.
Oh, you're right. You know what? Chicago is. I've never been to Houston, but Chicago. But I'm just thinking the White Sox. You're like,
I forget the name of that district there in Chicago where the bars were open until 5, at least in the 90s.
Wrigleyville,
Rush or something.
Oh, Rush Street.
Rush Street. Yeah. And then Houston.
I've never been.
Great. Oh God, Houston was fun.
Oh,
like
okay.
You go there and you wouldn't want to live there, but.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, back then, going to some of the gentlemen's clubs and
sure.
The Mexican food was terrific. And yeah, I didn't mind Houston.
Do you think what happens when Divish does come back on the beat full time and they start what if that's the decline for the team?
What, like if he's the bad news, the jinx, and he shows up and they start losing? And
wouldn't that be something?
Then they decline interviews with him and yeah. That would be something. I don't think there is that kind of jinx that's going to happen, but maybe it will.
What if he doesn't come back? I'm going to miss that.
That's possible.
I think there is. I think it is. I mean, I'm not saying I don't know anything. I'm just saying it probably could be possible that he's like, you know what? I kind of like my lifestyle here.
Yeah.
I'm out.
That's true. Hey, by the way, somebody's parking on the wrong side of the street here in my neighborhood. Should I go out?
Tell him.
Should I go out and inform him that he can't be there?
No. Who is that?
East Cascade Handyman.
Is that your guy?
No, I don't know who it is. Must be for our neighbor across the street or something. I don't know.
No, let him right there.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. You done? We're all done for so hey, Friday, let's produce on the show here live. No show Friday.
I mean, oh darn.
Son of a bitch.
That's what I was figuring because I got to drive to Boise anyway for going to a wedding.
Yep.
And I'm sorry I'm going to miss you.
It's okay. We'll be traveling down Thursday night, and then hopefully we can win a few ball games there in Bend, Oregon.
Okay, and one more thing, you're staying at that lodge. It's River Inn or whatever it is.
River House Lodge. Yes.
River House Lodge, right below the golf course. Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I think the weather's going to be nice. I hope you have a good time, and I'm sorry I'm not going to be here to see you.
Is it warm enough? Can I float the river?
Not warm enough to float the river. I mean, look at me. I'm still wearing a vest and a sweatshirt. This place, they talk about all the sunshine, and it is sunny today, but it's cold as hell. It's May. It's still cold here, though.
Well, yeah.
There's no spring here. There's no spring here. It goes from winter to summer.
You're in a desert climate.
And
in the climate.
Yeah. I mean, the altitude here is like Snoqualmie Pass. It's 3,000 feet.
Yeah, but it's wonderful. Yeah, okay. Look at the sunshine you have every day.
No, I know. Yeah. And I can get in the hot tub when I get cold. There's that. Yeah,
life is good. Thanks, Brian Turner.
Yeah. Brian Turner. Yeah, he's the best. All right, you're the best too, Puck. Take care. Go Cougs.
All right, go Cougs. There he is, the go-to guy with us Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Yes, Jeff has been hammering me here in the chat. Okay. All right. Sorry, Jeff. I apologize. So no show Friday. We're traveling Thursday to drive down to Bend, and so we're there. So Friday, and then obviously no show Monday because Memorial Day. We're back. Well, you know what? No show Tuesday. I just thought about that. Gotta write that down. God, see this. I'm a poor planner because I'm driving back Tuesday morning. My apologies. It's going to be a few lonely days. But again, listen to past shows, okay? So no show Friday, Monday, or Tuesday. All right. My apologies. Our apologies. We'll got content. We've got Mitch coming up tomorrow. You can listen to that for a whole week. We've got this week's sports pit. You can listen to that. Nothing's going to happen. It's Memorial Day. Nothing's going to take place. So don't worry about it. All right. Speaking of Mr. Ryan Divish, of course, we have Divish on every single week. He is, of course, living in beautiful Havre, Montana, where he is our resident MLB insider, also coaching his son's baseball team, the Havre North Stars. And he's also moonlighting right now as a furniture salesman, which is one of the highlights every single week in which I get to talk to him every week to have the episodes take place inside the furniture store. All right. He's the best in the biz. His weekly visit is brought to you by Chalet Bowl. The full 48 minutes is available for Puck's Posse members. You can sign up, join today, $5 a month, or you get a discount if you sign up for a year. Now, if you have any issues, because I know times are tough, and not that $5 is a lot of money per month, but you're paying for everything, right? You got this, I gotta pay him. I got this, I got to see out times, I got this subscription, I got all these stupid streaming services that I'm on. So it adds up, and I understand, and I'm very aware of that. So if you have any issues, please send me an email, puck@pucksports.com, and we'll take care of you. All right. Now, I don't want all my emails being flooded by people saying, I can't afford it. All right. Because I'll catch on to you. All right. But here he is. Ryan Divish, about 18 minutes of our visit today. We talk some Ben Williamson. We talk some Cole Young. We talk about, this team, how they're playing right now and them getting healthier as the summer goes on. Stuck in a position, I don't know what other options that they have, looking long-term there in right field. It just looks like right now, Taveras is not the guy. And again, listen, they took a flyer on this guy, and it's I love the move. You're hoping it kind of works out kind of in a way that Victor Robles worked out. I don't know if there is anything else that they can do, or is this just we're biding time until hopefully Victor Robles can come back? What is the timeline of Robles?
He's a ways away. I would think July maybe. Okay. I mean, Raley could be back before Robles, and that would help them. You get Raley back, that makes it a little bit better, and I mean that's when they had Raley there, they were fine, And they've been forced to do it differently. I mean, you look at Taveras, he is. He's projecting more as a fourth outfielder. There are moments where you think, okay, man, that guy's got a bazooka for an opportunity.
He does.
I mean, it's, I guess, like Taveras versus bringing up Cade Marlowe or one of those other guys that have largely unproven. I mean, Taveras can play center and right. If you ever want to give Julio a day off in the field, I think that's a good thing to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you do at this time. You just kind of try and piece things together as best as you can. And, I was looking last night I was watching the Dodgers game, Conforto is hitting 160, in his platoon role. You look at some of these guys, Anthony Santander with the Blue Jays has really, really struggled. Some of these guys, you're just going to have that sometimes where some guys you bring in aren't performing. I mean, with Taveras, the bar for him to perform was basically replacement level, and he's given you that. His strikeouts are a little, I think, frustrating at times, but he's been fine. And if you keep him, I mean, honestly, keep him around. Even when you get Raley back, you have a defensive presence. It's decent base runner. I mean, I understood that move. That the second he was DFA'd, I figured they would do it. Then again, Chris Taylor will be out there too at some point. I wonder if like they'll do a flyer on him because you only have to pay him the minimum. If you
that'd be a really interesting move. Would be Chris Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where he's at defensively to like play second base or whatever. And the thing is like Rivas has given you some solid play defensively, and he does find a way to get on base. He's not going to hit home runs or whatever.
But is this like Dipoto trying to go back in the past and right a wrong?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I would say that Taylor's he's more versatile than Solano. I mean, would you swap it out?
For sure.
I don't know. I don't like Chris is really, I think just the toll of playing, he's not the biggest guy in the world. I think that's beating him up a little bit.
Oh.
You've seen the offensive numbers reduce just because as you age, you can't replicate the violence and the swing, or maybe replicate the swing that you always have. But I mean, I thought that, the Dodgers were looking at DFAing Taylor during spring training or right out of spring training because they had a roster crunch. They just had enough injuries with all these other guys. They were able to keep him around on the 40-man and keep him on the active roster. But it was coming. I figured the Mariners would kick the tires on it, at least see. I'm sure Chris is weighing his options right now to see what's best for him. I'd love to see. It's so funny. I would go on MLB trade rumors every morning. And now it's like I wake up most mornings and I'm looking at the weather to see if I have to mow.
You're looking at the weather. You're
Yeah.
going to weather app, and then the second app is you're going to Game Changer.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah.
Who has left me a comment about playing time?
Huh?
Who has left me a comment
No,
about
I haven't
playing
had
time?
that yet.
No,
But
you haven't got the playing time one yet?
No, but my best pitcher, the one who struck out like 11 in 4 innings, he decided, none of these kids wear cups. And so he dove headfirst into the third base and landed funny. And so he's been out essentially since then for 2 weeks.
Oh, for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Would he rupture his sack? What'd he do?
I don't know. Jarred it pretty good.
Jesus.
And then jarred it pretty good. And I think, contrary to what his parents have thought, that he was dicking around and tried to come back a little bit and do some stuff when he was supposed to be resting, and then aggravated it again. So I'm hoping that a week off from activity will help him come back.
Is it just all activity?
I don't know.
He's got to tell her, hey, no.
Yeah, I don't know. These are high school kids. You never know with him.
That is the greatest re-injury story of all time.
I don't know. And so I'm like, there's things you deal with.
Yeah, these are real world things that you as the head coach have got to deal with.
Yeah, so like I'll look at trade rumors. I used to look at trade rumors every day and all that stuff. I hadn't seen anything on Taylor, but this is where they can get some help. I think
Sure.
It's not a ton of money you're talking about. Most of these guys would be on the minimum. You may see them grab another reliever or two here in the weeks ahead just because of depth. And, for whatever reason, Troy Taylor still can't spot a slider properly. And then, he's just behind in counts. Like the other night, having to use Munoz is not ideal.
Not ideal.
I mean, it was pretty efficient, but you don't want to have to use it.
Well, yeah, especially when it was, you had it locked and sealed and, save his arm. You don't need to bring him in that situation. Yeah. Hey, what do you make of Ben Williamson right now? I know there's been, some chatter on, I don't base everything on social media, but, it's a struggle and, this guy's not the answer now. Obviously with the hitting, I mean, we knew what type of hitter he was coming from Tacoma. You could just look at the stats, and the book on him was, hey, this is a guy that's he's not going to walk a lot. Power is not his game yet. As players get older and get bigger and get stronger, they can develop into that. They can add a little bit more power, but that's just not his game. His game is content. And, we've talked about it. The scout that I have on every week, we've talked at great length about, hey, his glove will travel. And his glove is what separates him and what will get him a call. I guess I will say this, and I always like to mirror. I mean, I'm more just, old school and watch games, and I don't get wrapped up in all the extra stats that we now have in baseball. I also don't dismiss them, and I'm not that guy. I've been surprised where some people have been, oh, he's just, his defensive metrics just aren't up to par, that it's below average. But Divish, when I watch him, I don't see that at all. I don't see that one bit. I see a guy that handles the hot corner is more than fine.
Like defensive metrics are a little wonky at times too, because like small sample sizes aren't, like he's only played what
26 games, 27
26 games. Yeah, so I mean, like that's 29 games. I mean, like
29.
That doesn't necessarily portend to how it is, and I mean, it is different. They hit the ball harder, big league level. Guys are faster. There's a level of execution that has to go higher. I thought, the other night, the double play, he turned on the bag and then fire in the first. There's been a couple of throws and stuff like that have been a little wonky at times. But, I mean, this is a kid that...
But nothing to suggest, to suggest that he's somehow below average over there. Like, I think it's nonsense, really, when I hear people talk about
I have 2 words for those people. Luis Urias. Okay? Luis Urias. You watched him last year. Okay? I mean, like, think about some of the guys they rolled out there. The thing with Williamson is the defense will get better because it's just repetitions. It's being out there more. It's understanding. I mean, Seager wasn't a great defensive third baseman. He made himself better. Williamson's already got a higher level than Seager was defensively. He'll get better. He's got better arm, everything. It's just, there are going to be a period of adjustment. There have been some mistakes. But, I mean, I think, he was outstanding defensively in Tacoma and the minor leagues. But, like, you just don't walk in and become Brooks Robinson. It takes time. You have to, the period adjustment. I mean, Suarez, for as good as he wasn't great to start with. He made some adjustments with Perry Hill. I mean, Josh Rojas last year wasn't great, and then he got better as the season progressed. I think you'll see the same thing with Williamson. I mean, like, from a hitting standpoint, the biggest problem is he's walked 4 times.
Yeah.
That's
never been a part of his game, right?
No, because of his swing and how short it is and how the approach he has a exceedingly high contact rate on a lot of pitches. Sometimes making contact is a bad thing because you're making contact on pitches out of the zone that will result in very weak contact. He
did, but it's like the play the other day.
Yeah.
He gets the 3-hit night.
Yeah.
He works. I thought it was a great at bat because he gets down. I think it's 0-2 or 1-2, but he ends up working a full count. He swings at a pitch that's inside. It would have been ball 4. Makes contact, hits it 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. But again, he gets on base. He hit it. I mean, it's one of those things that I feel like he has good at bats. I don't ever feel like he's, my personal opinion, I don't feel like he's overwhelmed up there. I feel like they're competitive, but you're right to the point. He does not walk. I mean, it's a hit or it's a strikeout.
Well, I think,
or it's an out. He makes contact and gets out. But
I think what he'll realize is like, when you get to the big league level, everybody throws a little bit harder. The ball moves a little bit more. They can throw more strikes, but the strike zone is tighter, and like you can be more discerning in the sense that, like, umpires aren't missing as many calls. You can have a better eye, and that grows with time too.
Yeah.
I think his approach will evolve, one, because he's very coachable and he listens, and he'll get better. I think a lot of the stuff he's done has been pretty solid. I mean, I think people forget sometimes how little professional baseball this kid has played, and now he's at the highest level. And I mean, like, that's a hard adjustment. Remember with Kelnick and all the stuff, Dipoto would talk about the minor league at bat totals and stuff like that. I mean, Williamson has played. He had 60 plate appearances in Tacoma for this year. He had 411 last year at AAA. I mean, that's it's not even 1,000 plate appearances essentially. Like, there's a lot of time, a lot of innings. And he missed a lot of time because of injuries. So I mean, like, I think you have to be kind of realistic to the situation. Yeah, you want him to be better, but they have essentially rushed this kid out of need.
Yeah.
And so that's the results. And I mean, I think that's why people are, they got to call up Perry Ford. You got to call up Cole Young. Like, nah, you don't need to right now. Like, if you're playing well, and there's not a need where you can play there every day and it'll be a significant upgrade. Then Harry Ford, you're not going to play him every day, and he's still got some more to do defensively.
Now, I want to get to Ford in a second because on this week's Sports Pit with Sandmeyer and Stretch, we talked a lot about Harry Ford. And it was more about Cal Raleigh, and then what's the future of Cal, and then where does Harry Ford kind of fit into that? Go to Cole Young though for a second. We all fall in love with the prospects, and listen, if you follow it closely, or like me, where I'm kind of pay attention to it. Yeah, you see the numbers he's putting up, and you've heard the hype about him. It's been well documented, and he's now really, really starting to put it together there in Tacoma. And listen, he's doing something that you want these guys to do, right? Is force their hand. Now, they're not in a desperate mode right now. It's not like they have to bring them up out of a necessity because they desperately need somebody at second. But I do wonder at what point, as the summer goes on, and maybe it never gets there, maybe they take a real cautious approach to it and just say, we can get by with the team we're at right now. The best thing for him is to have a full season there, and then we go in next year, and then he's the guy. But I do wonder, like, as a competitor as he is, does he make it so difficult for them not at some point to give him a taste of it later in the year?
No, I think there is that point. I mean, what you want to do is you want to see him, because he struggled coming out of the gate, right? So you want to see him have this hot streak. If he struggles again, does he get back out of it? How does he get back out of it? How does he handle failure multiple times in a season? Where does he go from here? Because there will be failure at the MLB level. And so it's like, how do you handle it? And, he got benched last year for not running hard one time. Like, there's little things like that. Defensively, how is he, because he's essentially going to be a second baseman. How is he handling the double play turns? How is he handling all the responsibilities of the defensive aspect too, beyond the numbers? I mean, once they put it all together, and you just know, it's kind of like the purpose too is what good is playing him down at AAA, doing him right now when it's clear that he's ready? When you get to that point, you make that decision. I mean, sometimes baseball will make the decision for you. Guy gets hurt, guy gets dinged up, and it's time. I remember it was spring training, must have been 9 or 10. They didn't know who they were going to play at shortstop. They had Nick Franklin, Brad Miller, Chris Taylor, and their competition throughout the spring. And then it looked like everybody kind of knew Nick Franklin couldn't play short because he didn't have the arm strength. So there was Taylor and Miller, and it's coming down. And Taylor was out playing Miller, and the plan was likely that Miller was going to go to AAA, start the season, and start working at other positions because he couldn't throw. I mean, it was just scattergun. And then their Mariners are playing the Brewers in a spring training game, and I can't remember, it was Jim Henderson, I think his name was, the right-hander, hit Chris Taylor in the hand and broke his hand. And then all of a sudden, the decision was made, and then, it changed the course of everything they were going to do just because of that. I mean, with Young, if Polanco says, I can't go right now, or retweaks it and says, well, I need 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off, then maybe you start it. Maybe you say, okay, we'll give you a quick taste now. There's no pressure here. Because it's not like what they did with Kelnick where they brought him up when he had to save the freaking team.
Right. And they're hitting him lead off.
Yeah. Here you bring up, hey, look, we had an injury. You're here for a couple weeks and we'll see how it goes. I mean, that's how Juan Soto got called up. Juan Soto got called up because the Nationals had a bunch of injuries, and Victor Robles was dinged up, and they couldn't use him, so they brought up Soto just for what they thought was going to be a couple weeks, and then he was going to send him back down. And he played so well.
You heard it here first, guys. Divish,
Cole Young is Juan Soto.
But Divish has compared, at Cole Young to a Juan Soto.
Or Juan Slow-Mo.
Juan Slow-Mo. That's a great one. So good.
How's that going?
I think it'd be here's where if you look into the future and you start to look at a lineup that barring any setbacks with injuries, Raley comes back, Robles comes back, and we get late into the summer. So you have even more veterans now that are in the lineup. I think that's when you can slide them in there and be like, listen, you don't get, to your point, you're not saving anything. You're just, you're you're a piece of the wheel here, right? We just need you play solid over there, hit the bottom, and do your thing. There won't be a lot of pressure on him to deliver. I mean, he'll have pressure on him because he's a rookie and all that, but that'll be fun to watch.
You'll have Demo, so you don't have to play him against left-handed pitching.
There you go.
There's a way to fit him in down the road that it seems more ideal than throwing him in now after a 20-game hot streak.
I agree.
Like the defensive component is big. I mean, like you think about what Rivas has done at second base for them and stabilize that position.
Fair.
I think that's important. So, yeah, there's a way to make it work. I mean, like there's a path for him to get there that doesn't involve injury, whereas Harry Ford, the path isn't there. The only way it happens is somebody gets dinged up.
Okay, so what? There you go. There is an appearance with Ryan Divish this week. If you want the full episode of Ryan Divish, we go another 30-plus minutes there. Go to pucksports.com, sign up to be a Pucks Posse member. Just $5 a month. You get a discount if you sign up for a year. Also, the QR code on your screen, if you're streaming the show, watching it, will take you there as well. Again, if you have any issues with that, financially can't make it work, but you love that Ryan Divish. Reach out to me. Send me an email, puck@pucksports.com, and we will take care of you. Hey, I didn't need to see John fucking Lund in my comments today. I see a Lund. No days off. F you, Lund. John, of course, a longtime sports radio personality, formerly at KNBR. Now is doing his own thing, kind of similar to what we've been doing here down there in the Bay Area, kicking ass. Now this guy doesn't take a day off. I'm going to tell you, it's all day long. This guy does a show. I don't need it. Like he works too hard. But yes, no show this Friday, Monday, or Tuesday because I'll be going to baseball tournament down in Bend, Oregon, for the old kiddo. Hey, John Lund, by the way, John Lund Unleashed. JohnLundUnleashed.com is the website, and you can check out his YouTube channel, Twitter, all the stuff. He's got everything. He's a big deal. Podcast, YouTube, blog, good looking, funny, talented. People like him. It's all the things that I'm not. But Lund is. Lund and I used to work. We crossed paths in Portland, worked together for just a little bit when I was kind of a minion behind the scenes, working my way up the ladder. Then he went on to bigger and better things. And so check him out, JohnLundUnleashed.com. All right. But hey, Lund, don't get on my vacations. Don't start busting my balls about it. All right. It's for the kids. For the kids. Yeah. So no show Friday, Monday, or Tuesday. But again, plenty of content for you to all catch up on, including tomorrow when we have a jam-packed show tomorrow. Brad Adams on. We've got Mitch on, and I feel I am missing somebody. Oh, Garofolo. I knew I was missing somebody. Garofolo on tomorrow's show. All right. Again, full Ryan Divish podcast show, both audio, video, Pucks Posse, $5 a month, pucksports.com. Sign up, join today. Love it. Appreciate the support. You guys have been great supporters all the time. But we talk a little bit more baseball, a little Havre North Stars, all of it. It's just always fun to catch up with Divish every single week. And good luck to the Havre North Stars. Follow them on Twitter, by the way. Havre North Stars on Twitter. 3-1 on the season as they take on the mighty Great Falls Chargers. M's taking on the White Sox right now. I'll give the score because it's for the live audience, but you know the score. And then the past audience is going to be like, great. I'm glad you gave the score. It's 3-0. All right, that's the score. Let's see. What do we got? We got to sign off here today real quick. Oh, I got to do this. I meant to do this yesterday. I didn't do it. So give me a second because I forgot to update everybody on the standings for the Puck the Picker Majors pool. And I promised myself I was going to do that yesterday, and then I didn't do it. And I'm like, son of a bitch, I knew I forgot. Again, if you're not following along, Puck the Picker Majors pool, which is brought to you by Synthetic Turf Northwest, syntheticturfnorthwest.com. It is a season-long golf tournament that we're doing, a golf contest, I should say, that we're doing. So the first 2 legs of the majors is out of the way. So if you join now, you still can join, but you're going to be really behind the 8 ball. So we have a lot of people that are entered in this, almost 340 people, 338 people into this. And so it's get into it next year. Don't fall asleep at the wheel. Again, you pick 2 new golfers for every single major. Can't pick the same ones. Puck the Picker Majors pool. First place is a first place prize for the season-long contest that ends with the Open Championship. So the results coming in July. Was a stay and play package at Gamble Sands for 2. You get a night stay plus 2 rounds of golf. Second place is a foursome at Fairwood Golf and Country Club. That's where I grew up on. Not a member. That's where I worked. Picking balls and a caddy being yelled at. And had the clubs thrown at me. Clean it again. Also, third place is a round for 4 at Mill Creek Country Club. Fourth place is a round for 4 at one of Troon's Seattle Premier golf courses around the area. So that's West Seattle, Jackson, Jefferson, which is now Bill Wright, by the way. And then plus an hour-long top tracer range session at one of those courses. So our leader right now, well, we have a 2-way tie. Top of the leaderboard, Doug Lawrenson. Shout out to Doug, because Doug is a daily viewer of the Daily Puck Drop, and so he's there every day in the chat room. It's great. Shout out to Doug, Brendan. Brandon, I'm going to screw up your name, Brendan. Limpsis? That's not right. Brendan, congratulations. You're a tie for first place. Ben Thielson, Jason Siller. Shout out Jason. I know Jason, third place. He's a regular at the box car with the Magnolia belly. If you see the Magnolia belly, it will stand out right away. Jason's the big guy. Glasses. He's there, I believe. So shout out to him. He's in third place. Tony Rajic, he's also in, what is he in third place? We got a lot of 3-way ties. Trent, Michael, David, and then we got a bunch of people there at tied for 9th. Anybody else that I recognize as I scroll up and down there? Nobody that I recognize right now. Brad Kirkpatrick. Shout out Brad. Our kids went to a German nanny when they were like 2 years old. Shout out Brad. Hell of a golfer, that guy. All right. That is so much information that you don't need. If someone's listening and watching this right now, like, shut up. All right. So good luck to the rest of our contestants in Puck the Picker Majors pool. And again, it will be back for the U.S. Open there in June. We will have a special thing. We're going to tie it around Father's Day for Synthetic Turf Northwest. So stay tuned for that. We'll have more information as we get closer. But big thanks to Synthetic Turf Northwest for being the sponsor of our golf coverage for Puck the Picker Majors pool, plus our chat that we have the Wednesday before every major with Travis Fulton from TravisFultonGolf.com. So we'll have the U.S. Open back in June, the Open Championship there in July. All right, let's wrap up today's very eventful, fun, cathartic Wednesday edition of the Daily Puck Drop with Hey What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. Company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services, locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when these damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. I'm not going to rehash it all, but I am a firm believer in karma, have always been a firm believer in karma. And my stance is always this, and I think it's something that everyone can live by. You treat people with respect, and respect will come back to you. You disrespect people, and you treat people in a wrong way, and you do it for many years, you get what you deserve. And that's what's transpired at my old place. You get what you deserve. And people in charge who made that call are going to get what they deserve. They are. And karma stinks. And karma's good at the same time. And it's just a lesson for all. And for people, especially in those top positions of power. When you don't have the back and you don't have the backing and stick up for the people that work underneath you and you only have self-interest in mind to protect you, that will catch up to you eventually. And what has transpired here in the last 24 hours there, with everything that's going on with attacking a Mariners broadcaster because he doesn't sound like you want him to sound. One of the lowest moments in the history of that. One of the lowest moments in the history of that station. Really is. Sad to watch. Sad to watch it for all the great people that are on the air there and work behind the scenes to put a great product on the air, because it's been a station that's been around for forever, but it's been dragged in a bad way here in the last 24 hours. And the people at the top are the ones to blame for that. So karma's real. Karma is very, very real. That's What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One in North Seattle. It's a restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com, the North Seattle franchise. Thank you, bottom of my heart, everybody watching and listening, not only today, but for the past year. Thank you to all our sponsors, Limback Lumber, Chalet Bowl, Georgetown Brewery. Check out their new Tavern beer. Just had a full keg of it this past weekend. Wonderful. Check out their locations. Go to the website, georgetownbeer.com. Also, a big thanks to Restoration One. Today's Daily Puck Drop, find it on YouTube. When you're there, please subscribe to the channel, like the channel, leave comments. Also, the Daily Puck Drop, you can find it up on your favorite podcast platforms. And, of course, always up at pucksports.com. When you're at pucksports.com, become a member of the Pucks Posse. Come along for the ride. It's fun. You'll love it. $5 a month. That's all it is. You support all the free content and the VIP and exclusive shows that we do. Our baseball coverage like Ryan Divish from today. Our Sports Pit with KJR alum Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson. Check out this week's show. Sandmeyer tells just chef's kiss story about George Brett. Also, tomorrow, Mitchie the Kid is back in the live show. And then once the show is over, that will be for Pucks Posse members exclusively. So Mitchie the Kid every Thursday, Mitch Unfiltered. And, of course, we now produce the Graz with Gas Take 5 podcast, where you can find on YouTube, all podcast platforms, and, of course, at pucksports.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for always being along for the ride. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. We will talk to you tomorrow on Thursday's edition. Till then, promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!